it's your girl Melissa D, your activation specialist. Happy Memorial Day weekend. Get up. Why y'all still in the bed? Y'all, I am so excited to have in the studio today not only my sister friend, like you ever meet somebody, well, you follow each other on social media and you're like, oh my gosh, she knows me, she gets me. And and their posts just make sense and they fly. And you just like, oh my gosh, she's in my closet. And then she can drop a word and all of that. And so that is Carrie Turner to me. I want to welcome you to 108 Praise Radio.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
I'm so excited to be here.
Y'all, for real, like, even as a host and when you're in the public eye and you have to kind of like keep this calm or whatever, and then you meet somebody like, but I'm a fan though. Like I really want to like just have this exciting moment. Like please sign my book. Like you know what I'm saying? And I'm having that for real. And because she's worthy of that. I mean she's the real deal.
Thank you. Sis.
You're the real deal. Thank you.
Thank
you for being here and gracing my show with your presence. And y'all, not only is she just lit for the Lord?
I am.
Not only is she on fire, not only is she fly, she's an author, philanthropist, minister, elder, trainer. She has a worldwide ministry. Now, you know what? I know some preachers, but I don't know too many that have preached in Ghana in the heat, makeup running, lashes.
My God, today.
That's like the real, like some worldwide anointing. And so to be in the presence of that, I'm honored. And so today, we're going to really dig in. And y'all know, you've been tuning into the show. Shout out to all of my very loyal listeners, subscribers, those that are new to the show. I'm humble. I'm grateful. And y'all, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm just having fun. Like, this is my fourth show, and every week just gets better and better. So I thank you. You guys have been sharing the show. You've been shouting it out, and I don't take that for granted. And so I just want to dig in, tell you a little bit more about my sister here, Miss Carrie Turner. She's a 2-time author. Yay! Give it up! If you got a book club, go look her up.
Please.
Pre-orders for her new book are now went live, yesterday?
Yesterday.
Okay. And don't forget about her first baby.
Yes.
And I know what it's like to have a project. They literally feel like your child.
They do.
Yeah.
And when you put it out, you don't know if folks gonna think your baby.
So I'm taking care of your baby.
Thank you.
You know what? And then I'm a book person anyway.
Yeah.
And even though we have all these gadgets and digital devices, there's nothing like the feel of a book in your hand.
Yes.
And I was so excited. So I got her. This is her first book, family. This is the Girl Bible. All right. You can go to thegirlbible.co, or can they also go to your new website? Yes. She not only launched a book yesterday, she launched a website, y'all. She is just ready to take off. She's already taking off. And so at carrieturner.org, y'all, her branding is sick. Check out the site for real.
Thank you.
So check out the book. I'm not just telling you this and endorsing her because she's here. I really read this, and for y'all don't believe me. Look, check it out. Where's my highlighter?
She got notes and highlights. She read for real. Read for real.
And I'm gonna really ask some real stuff.
Let's get into it.
I had an activation hour reading this book.
Wow.
Her second baby, that was just released, She's Lit, y'all. Is her new book, a prayer devotional, which I can't wait to dig into that as well. So I want to bless you all. So within the first half of the show, certainly call in, show her some love. Today's topic is saved, single. Now what? And don't y'all be acting like, I'm fine. I don't need nobody. Jesus is bae.
The devil is a liar. He's a liar.
Okay, Jesus is bae. No, Jesus is my savior. My bae is still out there.
Yes. Some things Jesus can't do.
Some things Jesus can't do. Praise God. All right. And you know what? I'm going to jump right into that. Her resume is impeccable. It is on my website now. You can check out her resume either at her site at carrieturner.org, or you can check it out on my site, melissadwhite.info.
Yes.
It will continue to be up all the way through the beginning of June so that you can connect with her after the show, because I'm telling you, she's going to drop nuggets and you're going to want to talk to her and you're going to want to say, girl, I'm in my feelings, help me out. All right, so I'm ready to just like jump right in.
Let's get into it.
All right, so cool. So the thing is, when reading this book, the show is called The Activation Hour.
Yes.
And I always like to tell people, some of you have heard what the activation hour is, some haven't, and I'm going to put it real simple for people. An activation hour, it's not just a brand. It is literally something I went through, and God showed me this is what it's called, and not only God, but my pastor.
Yeah.
And what it is, this is that transitional moment in our lives when we have an encounter with God, and we have now been spoken the truth about who we are,
Yes.
what our purpose is, and now you're like, Lord, what am I supposed to do with that?
Yes.
It is a moment between your old and your new.
That's good.
That's what an activation hour is.
Yeah.
You don't just have one of them.
Yeah.
You have multiple
Oh, yes.
hours like that in your life.
Yes.
And I had one reading your book, The Girl Bible.
Oh, wow.
And I'm going to explain it to you.
Okay.
And so I want to jump in, and so now that you understand what the activation hour is, what was your activation hour that even led to you birthing this book, The Girl Bible?
Yeah. That is it's a very, very, very good question. And
Okay.
I don't know if I had one particular activation hour. I felt like I had a year.
Activation year.
Activation year. I feel like really within like the last, I'd say 7 years, I had gone through so much stuff. I had gotten a divorce. He's telling me to
We get a
talk.
spotlight.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. I had lost a job. Got another job. I had just gone through financially, things were just so terrible, and so I had gone through so many different things, and the outlet for me as I was going through it was, just writing, just jotting down some different things.
So journaling.
Yeah, really kind of I'm not a great journaler, per se, because I don't really
no
keep
method to that.
I know I don't really keep up with it, but I do think in the process of me kind of walking through just some things that the Lord was showing me about myself and the things that I was experiencing, that's really how the Girl Bible came about.
Wow. So it's personal.
It was really personal. So I started writing, but I had decided to take this course called Glam University. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Sabrina Peterson.
Shout out to Glam University.
Yeah, this was
awesome.
about 2 or 3 years ago now at this point. And a part of being a part of that initiative was you got 6 months of one-on-one coaching with her. If you know anything about her, she's an excellent business guru. She's awesome. She's going to stay on you to get it done. And so we were having a coaching session, and I had already been writing. The Girl Bible was already in the works, but I didn't have a name for it at the time. And so I could visualize what I wanted it to look like, because typically the Lord will give me covers first. And so we didn't have a name. And so we were talking, and she was like, call it The Girl Bible. And I was like, it's perfect. It goes along with everything. So really it was just kind of a culmination of so many things that I think that the Lord was speaking, and me wanting to just share those things with other women that birthed The Girl Bible.
You know what's so amazing about that? I want you to catch a few things she shared. One, it comes from a personal place.
Oh,
so in any book you read or anything that you pour or feed yourself, it has to come from a real place.
Absolutely.
It's not something you heard.
No.
It wasn't like a quick, let me read this manual and I'm going to give you my interpretation. It wasn't
No.
like that.
No.
And I can tell you the first part that stood out to me, I mean, this looks like something you just want to have. Like, as a girl, you're like, it's so pretty.
Good.
It's so pretty. But then it's like, the Girl Bible.
Right.
What does that mean?
Exactly.
And everybody has their, like you said, everybody wants to be a coach. Everyone has advice. I'm not going to get into that today. But I'm going to say
With
this.
no weight. With no weight.
No weight.
You cannot
no oil.
coach. You cannot give people expertise with no weight. Weight comes from experience. Weight comes from trials. Weight comes from tribulation. So we want platforms, and we want people, and we want to provide expertise.
Preach.
But there is no weight. Weight costs you to be on your face. Weight is pain and hurt and all that good stuff.
You go through something.
You go through.
She going in, y'all. She about to.
Something.
I feel that she want to go in on it. But and you know what? When reading this, like I said, the activation hour
Yes.
is that season, that moment between the old and the new.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes people consider singleness an activation hour, however long that season may be.
Yeah.
And oftentimes you think the word single, you think, okay, this young person just kind of on the go, whatever. But single comes in many forms.
It does.
You can be a widow, a widower, and be single. You can be a divorcee and be single. So you've had a full circle season.
I have.
You've been there, which is interesting because I didn't know that. So you can touch singleness in many arenas.
Yeah.
You can be in the later season of your life. So single doesn't have an age. It's not like you're a millennial, a young professional. You can be seasoned and a boomer and trying to figure out what does this mean to be by myself in my later years.
Yeah.
So the other dynamic with the topic, though, is that I'm saved and single.
Yes.
So me and my girlfriends, I'm not going to call any names of my friends. We have like these very, you know how you had these girl moments at your house or whatever, and y'all just kind of kick off a conversation. So me and one of my closest, longest friends, we had this conversation recently. And my friends, I told you I'm going to be real today. My friends have been on me about dating. I took a hiatus.
Yes.
For it's been like a year and a half or whatever.
Okay.
It's like no relationship, and the reason for that was really because of where I am with God right now, and other things. And I knew that I cannot give that my all because I was in a place of restoration. And literally had come through a deliverance process.
Yes.
I couldn't. There's no way I could have given anyone the fullness or wholeness of who I was.
Absolutely.
I'm just being honest.
Yes.
And so you add. This is what came up. My girlfriend asked me, she said, so what is Christian dating? What does that mean? And now, mind you, this is a mixed bag of friends. Everybody in this conversation wasn't saved.
Yeah.
If you want to be churchy about it. Does everybody in that circle, yes, they pray because we've prayed together.
Yes.
Do they know the Lord? They know the Lord. Do we always do right? Not all the time, but everyone's at different levels in their walk.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
And so she said, look, I mean... First, that one of them asked me, she said, when are you going to start dating again? And I couldn't say the word date.
Wow.
I was like, I don't like that word.
Wow. Yeah.
I didn't like that word.
Yeah.
And she was like, what do you mean? I said, because people take it out of context.
Yeah.
And then she's like, well, okay, if you can't say the word date, but call it a meet and greet. Call it a hanging out. Everybody has a term for it.
Sure.
But when you add the Christian component to it, she's like, so what does that mean? Like, okay, so you stay celibate, right? I was like, well, it's more than that. It has to be purposeful. So what does your transition of not only being single but saved look like? Because for me, this is another reason why I'm having an issue dating. Before, now I've been in church all my life. Been saved, I was baptized for the first time at the age of 11, baptized again at 15, received my calling in ministry at 17. So I've been in the church.
Yes.
But there was some things in terms of my dating life I had not been delivered from.
Sure.
Until 33. I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
You could be saved and not be delivered from some stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
And I don't think people understand that. So then my thing was dating now doesn't look like what it looked like before I was delivered from some stuff, some baggage, some habits. When I was delivered from premarital sex, I'm just gonna be real with y'all.
Sure.
Help people out, because there are some people out there like, okay, I want to follow God, I want to do it His way, but I don't know how to do that. What does Christian dating or dating while saved look like?
I mean, it's an interesting question, because it would cause me to also say, what does dating while black looks like? What does dating while white look? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Interesting.
And I use that because I cannot take off my color. Ooh. You cannot take off being whatever color you are. You can't take that off. And so I think it's the same thing with being a Christian woman or a Christian man. If we have been baptized, we believe, we've been transformed, we've been redeemed by Jesus Christ, it is a choice that we've made to now take on a new identity. Yeah. And I believe that once we take on that identity, then that's just who we are. Now, where we are in our walk might speak to what decisions we make while we're dating as a Christian. So dating as a Christian isn't, I can't date today as a Christian and then tomorrow I'm dating as something else. It is, I believe it is who you are and what you embody, your beliefs, your principles, your morals, all of those different things. But I think when we add that dating while Christian onto it, it makes it seem as if there's going to be this perfect experience, or
it's
that
not.
you're walking out, you're dating, and you've never, what do the saints say? Fail. You've never failed. That's what they call it now.
Okay.
You've never fallen, or you never make mistakes in dating. So to me, I mean, it's very simple. It is who we are, and it's what we are, and we can't change that when we go into the workplace. We can't change it when we go out into the market. Wherever it is, it's just a part of who we are, and we're bringing that experience into our personal dating lives. That's all it is. Now, if it's deeper, somebody let me know.
Y'all, I feel like I'm having a Super Soul Sunday moment on a Saturday, because you know how Oprah says, like, that's a tweetable moment. Y'all, I caught like 10 of them. Well, first of all, she said identity.
Yes.
The identity part is so key.
Yeah.
If you don't know who you are, if you don't know who God says you are, you're going to be out here reckless. Like, really, you won't know.
Or you will be a target for vultures, and you will be a target for other people who are reckless. And listen, the thing about this is, dating as a Christian, dating or living as a believer in general, we never just arrive to this place where we know every single thing about ourselves.
No.
We don't.
It's evolution.
But absolutely, it's evolution. But there is some information, there are some things that we have to know about who we are before we can begin to entertain even dating other people.
Yes, that's true.
Sometimes we have enough information in the experience to make it a good one. Sometimes we don't. And we have some hard things, or we keep, I told the Lord just the other day, how many times am I going to bump my head in this particular area before I get it? Do you know what I mean? So it's just this journey that we're on, and we're constantly getting tools, whether or not the dating experiences work out or not. You should be getting something that helps you to grow in the process of it.
Absolutely. I like that. One, it's identity, and then there's a process to it. It's not like there's a journey in singleness and then there's a destination. Yeah. And you get that, and it's like, yay, I'm going to live great and be happy in the Lord forever, and it's going to be perfect.
Right.
No, it's not. No. I remember when I reached out to you and for the invite to the show, and we were just talking about it's being saved in the church. Okay, yeah. And then when there's a mantle on your life, when you are in ministry, there's a whole nother dynamic. Can you touch on that a little bit?
No, I can. It's funny because I've always thought it and I've always said it, but I didn't really fully experience it until I got back from Ghana. So I had had the privilege of traveling with my Bishop Jackson, and a whole team of us that had gone to Ghana to minister, and we ministered during the day and during the night. So we were almost every day. We may have had one day off when we were getting ready to fly back.
Okay.
And I didn't really realize how spiritually exhausted I was, how physically exhausted I was, how emotionally, just drained, how that takes place until I got back. Now, I've been ministering for a while, so I understand what it does to me on a regular Sunday or a regular day or whenever you're doing it. When I got back in town, as soon as I hit Hartsfield International Airport, I felt something completely different. I was exhausted and I was irritated as well, because once I got home, I went home alone. That's a different, and for some people it might not even be a big deal, but I went home alone, meaning I didn't have I didn't have a partner. I didn't have a person that could encourage or pour back into me. I didn't have a person that I could just collapse in front of. I didn't have any of that. And so when you don't have that after you do what you do for the Lord, it makes a difference. Now people will probably tell you, they'll make up reasons why that's not the case. And we know that in our weakest moments, the Lord is our strength. We know all that. Yeah. But in seminary, I was not taught what to do after my collar comes off. Because the truth is, if you are truly serving and you are truly giving, if you are fully operating in the anointing that God has called you, you are depleted. It costs you something to operate in your gift.
It does. It drains you. It takes everything.
It will drain you. It will take things from you. And I think if there is no wisdom in how to operate when you are at that moment, you can make some of the worst decisions of your life. Call folk on Sunday afternoon. Sunday evening.
Yeah.
Call folk on Tuesday nights. Call people on Wednesday evening. Do you know what I'm saying? Depending on how often they are doing it.
Yep.
Some of the greatest scandals that we have seen in ministry, and I'm not faulting anybody, is I don't think it's because people are bad people. I think that there was a moment of depletion, and you operated out of depletion.
And they feel themselves in the wrong way.
Yeah, and you feel yourself in the wrong way. It's no different. I heard somebody say all the time, and I always say, when you are hungry, you'll eat anything. When you are thirsty, you will eat anything.
Yeah.
And so it's like you have to make sure, or you have to create some standards and some boundaries even for yourself when you know that you are at a low point. Whether it's you've been operating in ministry or whatever your gift is, it could be you in the marketplace. I've had to learn what to do in those moments so that I don't fall into a place and it's something that I can't recover from.
Y'all.
Yeah. It's serious.
You know what? I told y'all, I feel like she's like in my house, just like my homegirl, and we hang out, and she knows my business. I'm gonna tell you why. I told you I'm gonna be real. One thing about being delivered is there's nothing anyone can ever hold over me that I haven't released to God. So I'm just gonna keep it 100.
I agree.
You touched on a few things that hit me personally, and I'm sure it hit you guys too. So if you wanna tell your story, you're welcome to call in and share that. But this is how I connected with what you said.
Yeah.
So I travel every single week for my job. I'm gone.
Wow. You do.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Yes, you do.
Monday through Friday. I fly. I teach. I train. So I pour out in the marketplace. Which the mission of the activation hour is bringing ministry to the marketplace.
That's right.
So essentially, in the corporate arena, my way of touching lives is through my corporate gifts, and it is a pouring out. Like literally, I get off the plane, I teach for 8 hours, I teach another 8 hours, and then I do have meetings or whatever, and then I fly back home.
Wow.
And I shared with my pastor recently. She traveled with me for an engagement for my nonprofit, and I had never told anybody. I told her first, and I'm gonna tell you guys. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna be honest. We had just flown back from Chicago, and we walked through the airport, and her husband came to pick her up. I said, "Can I be honest with you?" She said, "Yeah." I said, this is one of my most vulnerable moments when every week, I usually fly home like Thursday nights, Friday mornings. Every single week, I come through this airport, and it's that moment when I come up the escalator and I'm going to get my bag and something comes over me. Because I see all of the people whose families and husbands, spouses, loved ones, wives, whoever are meeting and greeting them with a hug, a kiss, whatever. And I'm taking Uber home.
Yes.
And there's not someone there to greet me after I am empty.
Yeah.
I am depleted.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I wanted to hug you. So I was like, you too. Don't take that for granted. But I love what you said, that is a very weak moment, and you have to make wise decisions. Like no one tells you what to do in that moment after you've poured out.
Oh, absolutely.
And so, that is tempting to call. Like, will you come pick me up?
Sometimes I have to turn my phone
off.
Are we talking real?
Yes.
I have to turn my phone off. Because that is how you end up in situations, even with people or scenarios that you wouldn't even be thinking about if you were full. You wouldn't even have a conversation with this person. They ain't bad people. They might be nice. Their mom and them might be nice, but you wouldn't even be talking to them if that weren't the case. But then when you have those moments, you're just trying to feed the need. You're trying to refuel.
If you're hungry, you'll eat anything.
Listen,
did y'all catch her saying
used to say? Listen, we would say, well, we want this to eat. She was like, no, if you hungry, you're going to eat what's in there. It's the truth.
That man.
Yeah, it's the truth.
Okay. It's to keep it moving from there. So now that we've identified the pouring out, the emptying, and even we're not even just talking about as being ministers of the gospel. It's just in your everyday single life.
Absolutely.
Like like you said, when the caller comes out, she's just Carrie. I'm just Melissa, and so let's talk about the church. Let's just be honest. And this is not my disclaimer. I love the church. We are the church. I feel like I have to give a church disclaimer every week because I'm not trying to make nobody's pastor mad, but I'm going to be real. Like, do you feel like the church is really addressing those types of things that affect singles and really preparing them, supporting them in that season?
Sure.
So, and if you do, and if there are ministries you've seen exhibit this in a very loving and productive way, how can other churches glean from that?
Yeah.
And support their singles in this season?
Yeah. I think, first let me give a disclaimer because I love the church as well. I don't think that you can serve the people of God and not love the church.
Yes.
So anybody that leads in church but you hate church or you don't like people,
you in the wrong
you probably
place.
got to find something else to do. But I also think that we do kind of blame the church for everything. Anytime something's not going right, we put the responsibility on the church. There are many churches who are very progressive with their singles. There are pastors who have made it a priority to make sure that is just a ministry that they want to make sure people are a part of, that they're pouring into. But every church culture and every church dynamic is different. So what might work well for singles at this church might not be a priority based upon the population of people at each ministry.
That's
you see what I'm saying?
interesting.
So every church is not going to have a huge singles ministry because that might not be the need of that
For that church.
Right? So you have to, if you're trying to connect with a church where the singles that's a huge thing there, then you got to do some research, prayer, so that the Lord leads you to the right place to go. So there are some churches that are doing it great. There are some churches that are just not doing it at all because it's not their focus. And then there are some churches who just don't know what to do with it. I think, no, we haven't always had we haven't done a very good job in terms of not just singles and what that looks like in church. We haven't done a very good job altogether with helping believers understand what happens to your body when you come to a stage where you are sexually aroused.
Yes.
We haven't done a good job of saying, what do you do with those feelings outside of saying abstain? Because
teach me how to abstain. There is a process to that.
Teach me how to abstain. Teach me what celibacy is. Do I have the gift of celibacy? Because I believe, now somebody correct me, but the worst, it is a gift. You know what I'm saying? So, I think that we haven't done a good job of just helping humans, men and women, understand what does it mean to be a believer, but then how do I respond to my body when I naturally feel. These are not...
Because that was a natural thing. There's nothing wrong with you.
Yeah.
You're not broken. You're not dirty. You're not...
And I don't care how many times you go to the altar. I don't care how many times you slain in the spirit. You are still going to feel what you are going to feel because God made you to feel that.
He made us to feel it for a reason.
For a reason. But now how that energy is channeled and what you do when you feel what you feel, that is where we have to be trained. That is where we have to be taught. And that's where discipline and those other things come in.
I love that. And that's... People don't want to talk about that stuff.
Because we don't know what to do with it, some of us.
That sounds like the workshop or something. Anyway,
now
I'm just honestly, but what I caught from what you were sharing, just about churches and doing your research and things like that. I think so often what happens, and now look, I'm not saying just like leave your church today because they don't have a singles ministry.
No.
What I'm saying is sometimes there are ministries you might be the one called to help start it. But do you believe then that maybe you have a different covering or church based on the season of where you are in life? And honestly, because some people are like, well, you know what? In my single life, I'm going to be over here because they got the best singles ministry and they do events and they do this. And then, but when I get married, I go over here because they have a marriage ministry. You know what I'm saying? Church hop. What do you think?
I definitely don't believe that. Now, do I believe that there are times where the Lord transitions us from one ministry to another ministry when things change? But that's the Lord's doing. That's not you deciding that you change in ministries because you are at a different season in your life. I don't think that that's what that is at all. Again, sometimes we are called to start the thing in the ministry under the leadership of our pastor, our leaders, that the ministry is lacking. Sometimes it's lacking because you're not operating in your calling. You're not stepping up to what you're supposed to do in the time that you are single. So it's not a thing of let me go somewhere else. It is, okay, Lord, are you really shifting me in a different direction?
Yeah.
Or is this where you desire for me to be planted to work so that I can build what it is that the ministry needs?
I have a litmus test. Shout out to my friend Minister Jacole Todd. I remember I had a situation one time and I was like so frustrated over it, and then she stopped me in the middle of the situation. She said, "But did God tell you to do that?"
I'm trying to tell you.
I was like, She was like, "Is that a Melissa thing or a God thing?" I was like, "It's a Melissa thing." And you need to ask yourself that all the time, like constantly in every decision you make in your single season. And like she said, she was like, "Are you called to that?" That goes back to identity again. If I don't know who I am, I'm out here. It's not even so much about knowing who I am to choose who I date. It's knowing who I am so I make the right decisions in business, in life, in love, in anything, in all things. And I mean, y'all, I told you this was going to be good, and I told you I was going to spill some more of my business. It's okay. Y'all are so therapeutic to me. Y'all are good to me. Now, listen, if you have questions, if you want to just shout us out, or also if you want an opportunity to win your very own Girl Bible, we're going to do a prize pack. You hear me? Now, you get a 2-for-1. All right? You call now at 770-415-2149. Just want to call in. Now, pick a number between 1 and 3.
7. Oh, you said 3.
3. I like that number. Is 7 your line number?
No,
what's
it was
your line?
26.
26. Ooh, how many were on your line?
50.
Jesus. Lord have mercy. Well, she picked a good number. 3's a good number. So my third caller, if I get a third caller in here, I want to bless you with a prize pack, a She's Lit prize pack. You get a Girl Bible. Now, and this ain't just that's not a giveaway. That's from me to you. I purchased that just to bless you with it. And you can thank Miss Carrie over here for your She's Lit pre-order book. I want to bless you with it because, like I said, and when we come back to the second half, I'm going to tell you the truth about the section that I had trouble with.
Okay.
I struggled. I had to be on my face. I'm like, Jesus, why can't I answer these questions? And come back, so I'm going to tell you some more of my business, okay? So you're listening to 108 Praise Radio. This is your girl, Melissa D., your activation specialist. We're going to take a quick break here, and I want to recognize my featured artist of the week. Man, I love y'all. My new artists, my gospel artists, my kingdom artists that are out there repping it and using your gifts. I just love y'all. Y'all hit me up and share some really great music. So my first song here is from Arian Keelan, Here With You. And girl, I've been vibing to your song, and your video is awesome. Thank you for sharing it. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with the second half of the Activation Hour on 108 Praise Radio, where we're voicing the gospel.
There's an atmosphere that I wanna know. There's this fragrance that I wanna inhale. It's a still small voice that I wanna hear with you. When I close my eyes, I just think of you. I lay down my pain and I say your name. Never realized I would find this space here with you. 'Cause everything that I do is to be here with you. There's no one on this earth that would compare to you. I just lift up my hands and I give all glory due. Lord, I long just to be 'cause everything that I do is to be here with you. There's no one on this earth that could compare to you. I just lift up my hands and I give all glory due. Lord, I long just to be here with you. I wanna live here, I wanna dwell here, I wanna stay here in this place where your glory's all around me. See your face, gotta see you, you're all I need. Just a taste of your glory, of your presence in this sacred place. 'Cause everything that I do is to be here with you. There's no one on this earth that could compare to you. I just lift up my hands and I give all glory due. Lord, I long just to be here with you. Everything that I do is to be here with you. There's no one on this earth that could compare to you. I just lift up my hands and I give all glory due you. Lord, I long just to be here with you. I wanna live here, I wanna dwell here, I wanna stay here.
To the second half of our show today, Saved, Single, Now What? All right, and I am joined here with my lovely guest, Miss Carrie Turner. She is dropping knowledge. Like y'all, literally, I'm the host, and I had to pull out my notebook and start jotting notes. I got sermon notes, y'all. I'm gonna post them online. And this is my personal copy of her first baby, her book, The Girl Bible. And so don't forget, you're welcome to call in for a chance to win your own copy gifted by me of The Girl Bible. And her second book, we're celebrating the release of She's Lit, the prayer devotional. So tell us a little bit about each book and how they related to that season of singleness.
Yeah. Well, I think, like I said earlier, with the Girl Bible, I had just gone through so many different experiences, and I wanted to figure out a way to really just kind of share them in a way that I thought that women would be able to receive them. So I talk a lot about a variety of things in the Girl Bible. If you don't have it, it's divided into 3 different sections.
Yeah,
which
why
is
those 3
love,
things?
Life, and God.
Why love, life, and God?
Because I felt like that was where my life was. It was either with love, and not just the premise of male-female relationships. I think I talk about just love and even understanding what that is as it relates to Christ and our primary example of love. So I talk about that, God, because it is just a part of, I don't care how I try to get away from it, what I try to do. Since I was 7 years old, this has been a part of my life. God has been a part of, of course, before 7, but in having an understanding, I think, of who he is and how he has moved in my life. So that was a primary focus. In any book that I have, there will be a God focus. There will be a scriptural base. That's just what it's going to be. Love, life, and then life in the sense of I love exposure. I love opportunities to learn new things, and so I feel like those are 3 categories that all women, for the most part, can connect and relate
Absolutely.
to. And so that's why I did it that way. So She's Lit came about because I used to do this session called Get Lit.
Yes.
Yeah, I used to do this session, and I still do, but I used to do it more frequently called Get Lit. And from Get Lit came She's Lit.
Okay.
And it's really just a spin on the term that we use all the time.
Yeah.
Lit is a popular urban term that we use, and it can mean that you are intoxicated with some type of substance, or it could just mean that you're having a good time.
Absolutely.
For the most part, many people in the world have used it as a way of, getting lit, partying, doing whatever it might be.
Yeah.
But I think that as believers, we are all called to get lit. Just not in the way that everybody else does it. I think that, when we were redeemed, when we were bought and paid for with a price, that comes responsibility. We don't get a chance to just sit on our laurels. We have to move in the world, and moving in the world is understanding that without the light of Christ, it is dark. And so you become a living example. As you accept Christ, you become that light that people have an opportunity to be able to see. And so I really wanted to just have women become reinvigorated about prayer, because prayer is a struggle for many people. It has been a struggle for me. And so I wanted to infuse what light means in your life, and sharing that with just a daily devotional for 40 days that will allow you to focus on light and how you move in that light in the world, because it takes courage to move in your light. It takes boldness to move in your light in whatever capacity that's in, because there are always so many reasons why we dim it. There's so many reasons why we try to hide it. But the Bible tells us that we are the light, and that's part of what we're called to do in the world. So that's where She's Lit came from.
I love that for so many reasons. And with She's Lit, I can't wait to get my hands on a copy of that book. I'm going to pre-order mine today. And don't forget, we're gifting you guys a copy of that too. And when you say struggling with prayer, let's talk about that a little bit. Talk about prayer and singleness. You talk about being specific and all of that. And some of y'all, I was never like the girl that had a list.
Yes.
Because it never made sense to me. My list would be so mismatched. I'm like, well, I mean, he got to be tall, but then I'm short, so he could be short, but he just got to be taller than me. My list was all over the place. I didn't even know how to be specific with God. So I'm like, you know what? Even when I had a list and I would pray about my list, I was still choosing wrong because I was doing the choosing. So I don't just share it. Like when you pray in your single season, and praying for a mate, how do you?
You know what? Honestly, and I was just literally talking to somebody about this morning. I don't have a list for a mate, so I don't have like these specific. Okay,
so I'm not the only one.
Yeah, I don't have that. I know some people do, and some people have even told me, "Oh, we know you got to write it down and you got to be specific." But I don't have that. And the second truth is, if I could just be honest, I don't spend a lot of time asking the Lord about a specific type of person. My time with the Lord is typically on helping me to endure this time in my life, because I have a real problem with patience. Can I be
Please talk about that. I asked the question so we can go down that road. Talk about patience.
I have a real problem with patience.
You're not the only one.
Yeah, it is something that that truly is a daily walk for me. And it's not in every single area of my life, but it's in the areas of my life where it's like, purpose and ministry. And a husband, and somebody asked me one time, well, what would you be doing if you wasn't doing this? Pregnant.
She's like, I'll tell you what I'm.
You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of times people don't anticipate hearing those things from me, but it's true, because I think that it's just an important part of where I see my life going and what I believe that the Lord has called me to. But I don't spend a lot of time asking. Maybe I should asking about the specific person,
things.
But I pray to ask the Lord to help me deal with where he has me right now, why I am in this space. And when I have those moments, which I do often, where you are walking down the street and you see a family, or you are going to weddings, or you are going to baby. At one point in time, I said, don't send me no more baby shower invitations and no more.
I love y'all, love your baby.
I'm sending a gift.
I'm struggling.
You know what I'm saying? but it's true. And that's not something I believe that we have to be ashamed of, because I think people have made us feel like to say that we want a husband or to say that we
There's
desire
something
partnership,
wrong with that.
something's wrong. Listen, and for some
That
people,
bothers
maybe
me
that's
so
not
bad.
maybe that's not what they desire. But for me, I am very
Yeah.
honest about how I feel in that area of my life. It doesn't mean that I'm desperate. It doesn't mean any of that. It is just a genuine desire that I have. So in my prayer time, I am really asking the Lord to deal with me, to give me patience, to strengthen my discernment, because some of the situations I have been in have been so foolish. Do you hear me? That it's a wonder. I don't need to be. Sometimes I say, listen, you just need to sit down, shusha. You don't need to talk to. Maybe you need to be on a dating sabbatical.
Ooh.
Because you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And obviously they're a direct reflection of the decisions I'm making and what is going on inside of me. And so my prayer time really focuses on that, because I truly believe that the Lord knows exactly what I desire in
He
terms
does.
of things about a person.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I do pray about characteristics, those types of things, integrity, a man of God, but a real man of God, but not necessarily all of the other stuff. It's really just focused on helping me to navigate through what can sometimes seem like an easy time and other times seem like a very seriously difficult time.
I love that, because instead of being so focused on jumping from the last thing to the next thing, you're like, God, deal with me. Help me through this so that I'm conditioned and positioned to get through this really unscathed as possible. Like, I don't want to keep bumping my head.
Yeah.
I don't want to keep going through the same thing.
Yeah.
That's what ultimately led to me making that decision to just stop dating for a minute, because I was choosing wrong. And it was and I knew it came from a place like I said, it wasn't that God told me to date this person or that I even prayed about it. It was I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the reasons I don't have a list, because I'm like, obviously I hadn't been focused on the right things. So Lord, recalibrate me so that the things that I desire are the things that you desire for me.
And do you meet the list that you're making for somebody else? Because it's quite easy to create a list of a million things that you want from somebody else, but do you have what is even on the list that you are expecting?
Would you meet your own qualifications?
Would you meet your own qualifications? You have to make sure that you'll meet your own qualifications.
Y'all out here wanting somebody with a 750 credit score and
yours 325. Hey, we got to work on that. It ain't bad. But
you out here want somebody fit and fine,
but you not. Hey,
and you just not
so
there yet.
Listen, because the same way that you want somebody appealing physically, the same way that you want somebody appealing in the spirit, the same way that you want an intelligent, funny person, somebody else
want
that
the same thing.
So people, listen, nobody wants to feel like they're in a situation where the other person came up and they didn't.
Yep.
So you need to be just as proud to look at them across the table as they are to look at you. Because
they represent you.
Absolutely. You
They are
represent each
representation.
other.
You represent each other.
Absolutely.
Oh, and you definitely do. So let me jump into the book for a second. So I had a couple of highlighted things, and I told y'all I'm gonna tell my truth. I don't care. Y'all can talk about me. I don't care.
It's oil on the truth.
It is. Yes, it is.
Oil on the truth.
So there's so many things I'm gonna hit on. One of them, just if I can read an excerpt and share with the people. There's a section in the beginning of the book called Fierce Love, and it is good stuff. And I told y'all, I seriously highlight. I like to show people that I'm for real. I don't make this stuff up. I got receipts. As they say, I got receipts that I read this book. Okay. As women of God, when discussing love, catch this, we must first refer to the source of love as our primary point of reference. The reason that stood out to me is I remember when in my 20s, I'm just gonna be honest, I wanted to be married so bad in my 20s, I didn't know what to do. And in my late 20s going into my 30s, that's when I really started engaging in those conversations with my mom for real. And my mom said, you know what, and my mom's divorced, and she said, well, surround yourself with examples of healthy, godly marriages. Yeah. And so, but in here you says, refer to the source of love. Well, first we must basically look at God as our primary point of reference. Yeah. So in your single season, how do we then use God's example for what love and marriage should look like?
Right.
Some people don't know how to do that.
Yeah. I say that not to sound super spiritual, but I spoke that from a place of coming from being born into a very broken home. I spoke that from a space of not growing up with my father, and I know a lot of people have that story.
I can relate to that.
I spoke that from a space of never really seeing immediately in front of me what a healthy marriage looked like. And so what I had to find out is oftentimes what you see and what you grow up in shapes you, and that shapes the lens out of which you view every single thing in your life. And so if I viewed men the way that I had experienced family situations or even things that I had dealt with as a very young girl with men, then I would look at every single man from a broken place. I would look at every single relationship from a broken place.
That's so true.
I would look at every single marriage from a broken place. But because we have access to the Father, we understand that there has been an example set for us in terms of what does love look like. Love is you can know the worst about who I am.
Yes.
I can be completely naked in front of you, and you still love me. You still sacrifice for me. You still want to see my best. Love is I make mistakes, but you cover my mistakes. Love is you see the destiny and purpose in my life, and it is your joy to ensure that I come into all that you've called me to be. Those are examples of God. They start there first. And so I think that when we look at marriage and we look at, because I've been married, so when we look at marriage or we look at even understanding love in our singleness, I think God is the most simplistic example of what that looks like and what we can follow after. I think sometimes we make it more intense than what it has to be.
It's no deeper than that.
It's not. It really is quite simple. And so when I wrote that, it was that space that I was coming from, because I literally had to go back to the drawing board, because if I based it off of what I had seen, it had been distorted. I had a distorted view of love. And so I had to go back to love itself so that I can understand what that looks like.
You have to redefine. So that I'm going to go back to my first question about the activation hour. And that's what I mean by the old and the new. My old mindset of what love is and was to me, and that from the lens of brokenness, I saw it in one way. I interpreted it in that way. And so I began to reproduce it in that way.
Absolutely.
So now in my newness, and that's why I said there is such a transitional state. Through my activation hour, I had to redefine what love is through God's lens.
And understanding that love is not conditional, because that's how I used to operate. If you do what I want you to do, then you love me and I love you. If you don't do what I don't want you to do, then that's not really love. Love is, and I think that I write this, it is fully pouring yourself out on the object of your affection. And doing it because that is truly what you feel, believe, what you want to do.
And not looking for anything in return.
And that is the hardest thing ever, because we
hard.
all believe in reciprocity. But there's just a way, there's such a risk in love. And I think that oftentimes that is why it's so difficult, it's so difficult to truly walk in consistently.
Yep. And I'm going to share with you the same best friend. We talk all the time.
Yeah.
I'll never forget, this was way before, I really been delivered from some, like, the brokenness and the love relationships in my life. And I remember this particular summer, we were sitting on a patio at a restaurant here in Atlanta. And I was so hurt. I was so mad about some stuff with this guy that I just loved. And I'm just going on and on and on. And in that moment, my closest friend, who I've known longer than anybody else in my life, looks at me. And she doesn't cry. Yeah. I've seen her cry 2 times in her life.
Wow.
And one of them was that day. And I was like, what you crying for? She said, because I'm so upset that what you see of love is only romantic love, and this person want to love you. And I'm sitting right across from you. And all I want is to love you and for you to be happy. And I was so, as a friend, I was hurt in that moment, because I had love looking at me in the face, comforting me when I was crying about the love I wasn't getting.
Yeah, that's good.
That, I was like, oh, shoot. Yeah. We're so busy looking for a romantic love that we miss God's love everywhere else around us.
That's
And I'm gonna
right.
be honest, that's what has sustained me in that season of not being married, of not dating, is I relish in, I bathe and bask in the love of where God sends people to love on me.
Yeah.
And I love on them back.
Yeah.
And there's not an expectation of, and it's funny how we don't put those expectations on other people. Generally, it's like, well, my mama gonna love me regardless. Like, it don't matter. But this man over here, like, well, he gotta do this. And I'm like, I'm gonna be honest with you, it's very liberating when you take the expectations off. Like, it is such a relief. Because it's a burden on you because you're constantly looking for, did they do that? Did they not? It's like you have this constant checklist. And then it's a burden on them. Because truthfully, they're not really the cause of the pain you're carrying. They're just kind of burying the load now.
Now, and these are, let me just put a disclaimer out here. These are, what I believe, situations that that the Lord has called you to.
Yes.
Nobody is telling you to go pour all your affection on somebody who
come on.
You know that there is nothing.
Don't
there,
be
so
foolish.
Don't
be foolish.
Use wisdom. Absolutely.
Use absolute wisdom. But I had to impress upon you guys that, for me, I looked at my best friend in the face and I was like, my God, I love you. And we're in a crowded restaurant, boo-hoo crying. And we just hugged each other and I said, I love you and I'm sorry. Like, and to her, it was like, and that was such an example. Oh my God, I just caught this telling this story again. That's such an example of God's love. While we're crying and we're broken and we're laying before him, telling him about this man or this woman that hurt us, he's literally sitting there like, but what about me? I'm right here.
And can I just add one little thing to that? I was, this was a couple years ago, I was at church, and at the time the pastor, one of the things, I think he had a whole sermon on it, but one of the things that he had said is that, God is looking to have, for many of us in our single season, these one-on-one experiences with us, but we are looking to have threesomes, meaning we want to bring somebody into the situation when God is just asking, when he desires to have time with us. It's almost like he's sitting and waiting for us. Do you have time? Can we share? That type of thing. But we're always trying to bring another person when God just wants the time with us. There are seasons where it should just be
just us and the Lord.
Y'all,
this is so good. I didn't realize I was at the top of the hour.
Oh my goodness.
I'm not ready to go.
We need a part 2 at some point.
You know what? We are. We're gonna make that happen. I hope that then this was just a teaser. Like I had so much more. My gosh. Guys, this is I pray. Our prayer is that you glean something from this that brings peace and comfort to your heart. That helps you get through not just this holiday weekend. It's about to be summer season, skin season.
My God, today we made it through the winter,
We made it through the winter, through cuffing season, as they call it.
Now we got to get through the summer.
Now you got to get through the summer, and everybody looking fine and walking around, and you got these, I want to go to the park with my boo. Girl, dude, don't pick up that phone. You call some of your friends and be like, hey, cover me. What you say? Turn the phone off.
Please, if you got
sometimes I have to turn it off and leave it at home.
Or I have my girlfriends text me SOS. If somebody just in a space where
I need a moment. I like that. There's some accountability to that. So family, thank y'all for tuning in this week to another activation hour. Saved, single, now what? And so I want that now what to be for you to fall in love with God and fall in love with yourself, your identity. Learn who you are in this season. Use some of the tools that I'm giving you. I told you, even in this season, I learned something about myself in this book. So pick up this book and any other resources. Pick up the Word. And feast on that. Would you say if you're hungry, you'll eat anything? Eat on the Word. I'm telling you, you'll be full and feel good about it. And so make sure you tune in. Share this with somebody. order the book, support my girl Carrie Turner, carrieturner.org for more information to support her ministry, and all of her work. And so make sure you tune in. Again, my name's Melissa D, your activation specialist, and we're going to close out with my second featured artist of the week. Shout out to Miss Squeaky Miller, Diana Squeaky Miller, in Tallahassee, Florida, with her song Keep On Praying. She has been a huge supporter of the show. We thank you for the love, and we're going to keep on praying in this season of Save Single Now What. You are tuning in to 108 Praise Radio, where we're always voicing the gospel. Have a blessed holiday weekend, family. Bye-bye.